Hello everyone, 2024 may be winding down, but we still have a few more trips to the Goodwill bins to go before this year wraps up. And if you missed it, speaking of the end of the year, I started posting, we do our top 10 every year that Amanda and I do together for our top 10 books we read that year, movies, and video games. The video games one is up, so go ahead and check that out if you are interested. And then let's get started with the Blu-rays, tons of DVDs, books, and all kinds of interesting stuff today. Good variety, so you're in for some cool stuff. Starting off with this Anchorman 1 and 2 Blu-ray Steelbook. Anchorman, the first one, just when it came out at the time, I remember seeing it in theaters. My friends and I absolutely loved it. Anchorman 2 was pretty good, something a little different. Ice Age Collision Course. How many of these are there, these Ice Age movies? I've only watched the first one ever, not my thing, but yeah, they're more than I thought. Trolls, Furious 7, Cloverfield, Gatsby, the live-action Beauty and the Beast, Straight Outta Compton, La La Land, Heart's War, Taken 1 and 2, The Book of Life, and The Longest Ride. Then getting into the DVDs, starting off with some good DC stuff. We have the Batman Superman movie and this cool lenticular cover of, what is it, Superman Doomsday. That's pretty fun. And then some Batman the Animated Series, Tales of the Dark Knight, as well as Batman and Friends. And I'm not sure by the art style, like, what is Batman and Friends? I don't know if that's My Batman, that 90s animated series, or a different one. Never heard of this, so interesting one I'll have to look at. Then we have some Batman, Brave and the Bold, Secretariat, Madagascar 3, Cat in the Hat. The Cat in the Hat knows a lot about that. Let's Go on an Adventure. It's a good early kids, like a PBS Kids show. I remember seeing a bunch of that while I was babysitting. Fox and the Hound 2, Brave, Annie, Up, one of the volumes of, what volume number doesn't say, just ramifications of Dragon Ball GT. And these volumes, I used to have a couple of these. I never liked these individual ones. Go for those green box sets because these have that. They redid the intro sequence with that weird rap song that was terrible. Just Alice in Wonderland, one of the many different live-action variations of that. Scooby-Doo Winter Wonder Dog. This is a nice sealed box set of the personal best of Monty Python's Flying Circus. Some Danielle Steele Vanished. Too Fast, Too Furious, the only one of these movies I've ever seen. Willow. A Boy Called Sailboat, Neverending Story, Planes, Fire and Rescue, What About Bob, Taken 3, 2012 Supernova, The End of the World. This is a good collection of family animated favorites: An American Tail, Balto, and The Land Before Time. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, speaking of good kids films, Doctor Strange, Raging Bull, Turkey Hollow. This is a collector's ultimate edition 2-disc set of Dirty Dancing, Urban Cowboy, Failsafe, Shot in the Dark, one of my all-time favorite movies, my favorite comedy ever, Homeland, the complete 4th season, and Cecil B. DeMille's The Greatest Show on Earth. One of the great courses, A History of Hitler's Empire, 2nd edition, by Professor Thomas Childers. What is this? Hamlet 2, comedy movie. Smoking Aces 2. Alien vs. Predator Requiem. The Producers, the original version. Learning to Drive. The Imitation Game. Scrubs Season 3. Downton Abbey, the motion picture. I never knew they did a movie for that show. You, Me, and Dupree. No Reservations. Another of The Imitation Game. Stupid Crazy Love. Hard Cash. From the Sight and Sound Theater, Noah, the musical. Vice. The Rock. In the Line of Fire, Hancock, The Christmas Blessing, Wind Talkers, Richard III, Spider-Man 2, The Town, Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, the Sex and the City's Essentials Collection Romance, The Proposal, One Fine Day. From the Frank Sinatra collection we have Marriage on the Rocks, Ocean's 11, the original one, The Gospel of Luke, Town and Country, Excalibur, and a handful of martial arts double feature sets. We have Fearless Tiger and Death Machines, and Fearless Fighters and Fury at Shaolin Temple. Alpha Dog, the first of the Expendables movies, X-Men The Last Stand, Das Boot, the director's cut, Wolfgang Peterson film, the collector's edition of Fast Times at Ridgemont High, this Led Zeppelin DVD collection, 2-disc set, Fast and the Furious, the first one, the Christmas Angel, Man in the Moon, Life, Banditas, the Hulk, the Ang Lee version. From the Masters of Terror collection we have Halloween H2O, Hellraiser Inferno, Children of the Corn 5, and Dracula 2 Ascension. What a weird mix. North Country, The Green Mile, The Ring, Boondock Saints, Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow, and The Outsiders, the 2-disc special edition. The Order, Anton Fisher, Overboard, Spider-Man, Jesus and His Times, Trapped in Paradise, The Neverending Story 1 and 2, double feature, Amistad, Stand By Me, Resident Evil and Resident Evil Apocalypse, the first two of those, Clueless, see, Waking Ned Divine, Chronicles of Riddick, Enemy of the State, The Burbs, and Hidalgo. Next, getting into all the music stuff, Amanda found, she was with me today, a bunch of these K-pop selections, a bunch of different stuff. Some of these like magazines and photo books and stuff with music CDs, a couple different collections. Some of these are like hardcover, like picture books, and some of them have CDs with them as well. Just a whole stack of them, and a couple of different bands. Not familiar with any of this stuff, any of the K-pop stuff, so these are ones I'm going to have to look up. Really was uncertain about, but she found all these and got to go through them. So if you know who any of these bands are, know anything about K-pop, let me know. If you have a favorite or anything, what is it? NCT Dream, a few cassettes with some Sesame Street and some Peter Frampton. And then in the CDs, a few song collections for kids, Garfield, a bunch of kind of like bedtime tunes, and then a bunch of Christmas stuff, Mannheim Steamrollers and Christmas Family Treasury collection. So I want to get those up for this time of year. And then the last thing behind me here, I have a huge stack. I actually found a bunch of vinyl records today, which is not something I usually find, and if I do, it's one or two that are worth grabbing. Usually they're in pretty bad shape there, but here I found a bunch that are worth getting that are in decent shape. We have Bette Midler, The Divine Miss M, some Carol Burnett with Carol Burnett Sings, that famous image from the Carol Burnett show. Carol Burnett Remembers How They Stopped the Show. Here's Carol, some Carol Burnett Sings, some more Carol Burnett, and then a Carol Burnett and Julie Andrews at Carnegie Hall. That's pretty cool. So, two people that I like. Then we have Diane Warwick, Promises, Promises. Leader of the Pack, the original Broadway cast album. This is a 2-disc set. Some Ethel Waters. Ethel Waters, His Eye on the Sparrow. Berlin to Broadway with Kurt Weill, the musical Voyage. Another nice gatefold. Pat Suzuki, Broadway 59. Miyoshi. Judy Garland on radio. Live off-the-air broadcast. That's pretty interesting. We have some more Ethel Waters, 1921 to 24. I thought this was pretty fascinating, like that one. And lastly, some more Ethel Waters. So a bunch from that are kind of like a good little collection. So it's definitely some interesting stuff from that today. A couple of oddball things. One, DS Manual, a turtle that I recognize from my childhood. This is from '89 of Michelangelo. I had all four of these, the exact ones, this type of plush when I was a little kid. And then Amanda recognized one of the, what the heck are those called, those fairy dancer things that she had for about an hour before her brother broke it. They were, I think, recalled when they first came out because they were dangerous. You'd have a little base here, and you'd spin it and it'd go flying in the air with their wings. And I don't know, did the guy one ever come out? Because I remember the commercial for those, where they were more like warriors. And I think there was even a short-lived animated series, I want to say off the top of my head. I never knew anyone who had one, so I don't even know if they ever officially came out. But these Sky Dancers, they like every girl I knew had one. They had the one random like Christmas and springtime of that year, and then they disappeared off the face of the earth. I never saw them again. Then getting into the books, we found a ton of that stuff too that was really good. The Omnibus Volume 1 edition of Akira, one good manga find in amazing condition, so that was really good find there. Some Artemis Fowl hardcovers, as well as a series of The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. Always nice when you find those and they're all from the same release because they've been re-released so many hundreds of times. Sometimes you find like, oh, Fellowship from 1970 something, and then there's a copy of Return of the King, but it's from like 1990 something, and they just don't match. It's nice when it's a matching set. One, just kind of an oddball, it's for me, this magazine find from the 50th anniversary Life magazines, All in the Family celebration. I have a couple of these for some of my favorite sitcoms over the many years. I have the Mary Tyler Moore Show and MASH and Seinfeld. So when I grabbed this from the bottom of the bin's in really good shape, this is really cool. It's definitely one of my favorite sitcoms. So I love to have those. That'll be in my personal collection. And then we have Naughty Little Secret, not for my collection. We have the Tales of Beetle the Bard, Harry Potter, this weird looking Trump book. This looks actually really cool. I'm going to give this a read before it goes up on the store. Well, Cary Grant, A Celebration of Style. Probably, in my opinion, one of the most stylish people to ever live. Probably the handsomest man who's ever lived. One of my favorite actors. So that'll be a cool one to check out. The Sorcerer's Companion. This is a guide to the magical world of Harry Potter. A bunch of kids' books. Some older stuff, some newer, good little variety, stuff like Babysitter's Club. This I know a lot of kids, I guess, still play this. This is Hello Neighbor. It's one of those tablet games. Bad Blood. Then Pokemon, I Choose You. Some Bruce Coville. Shaquille O'Neal. Two of a Kind. One of the Guardians books. Some Dear America. Goosebumps, Deep Trouble 2. Alex Mack, some good more 90s Nick, Full House. So just a good variety of like a bunch of stuff that we are grabbing. One of the box sets of the Magic Treehouse, books 1 through 4. And then we still have one big stack to go. We have The Forest House, getting into some more adult stuff, more One Tree. This is the second Chronicles of Thomas Covenant. Starbreaker. From Unseen Fire. Tribune of Rome. Herland, the lost feminist utopian novel. And it's funny, my wife picked this up and she's like, what is this? And threw it back. And I picked it up like, that looks kind of interesting. That was funny to me. The Sixth Extinction. One of the Bobbsey twins, A Secret at the Seashore. Lost in Space, the newer Lost in Space series. I actually was not aware they did a few novels. Returned to Yesterday. Looks like it's like a kid's book or a young adult, but I'm actually going to check it out just because I didn't know these existed, and I really liked that reboot show. I prefer the original, obviously, but I thought it was interesting, and come on, you got to release the rest of that show on DVD or Blu-ray. Only season 1, that's, I hate modern TV. But yeah, so that's actually kind of an interesting thing from the Netflix series. Susan Cooper, The Dark is Rising sequence, Oversea Under Stone. Ava Gardner, Love is Nothing. Journey to Munich, The Unabridged Edgar Allan Poe, this huge volume. It's a cool collection. King's Cage, Tess of the Road, and The Great Glowing Coils of the Universe. So that's the last thing from today. As you can see, tons of stuff and a really good variety. Love when that happens. It's going to be really great to end the year with these massive pickups. Probably going to go one more time before the end of the year, so look forward to that. There's still some cool stuff happening as the month is still going on. This is probably going to be more videos on the channel if you watch a lot of my stuff than I've ever done before in a single month, because all the regular stuff, we're finding lots of great stuff at the thrift store. Lots of great things are coming out, some new video games, movies, and then on top of that, we still have ongoing, if you haven't started watching those, my 25 Days of Christmas, an entire celebration of favorite TV episodes, Christmas specials. So I hope you enjoy those, and I'll see you around.